Welcome back to the Wisdom Vacuum. We have our normal host, Josh, who is currently the PC police, and we have Jacob, who's on my side. Say hello, guys.
Hello, guys.
Just say hi. We also have two guests today. Very special guests. He's tall. He's handsome. He's Luke Goad. Say hi, Luke.
Hello.
All right. That's the introduction.
That's what you asked for.
I did exactly what you told me to, man.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious who took a sip of something right before that. I was trying to figure out who's. Was it you?
I was taking a sip of my Arizona ginseng and honey tea.
It's good tea.
I also have an orange cream bubbly that I'm sipping on.
Before we get into the normal segment of our podcast, Jacob said we're going to do a taquito podcast today, and I had two left, and I cooked them. And while I was scrolling on Instagram, I subconsciously ate both of them and completely forgot about eating them on the podcast.
Okay, because Josh said, I went to the gym and I'm going to lose weight or whatever, so I can't have that food right now.
Yeah.
So he just ruined everything.
It was never meant to be. I'm not eating taquitos right now. It's not the right time.
Well, good. I don't feel bad anymore. They were delicious, Josh. You can live through me.
I bet they were.
Luke, do you like taquitos?
I do. Yeah, I have some in my freezer right now.
What kind?
See? All the cool people have taquitos.
I think they're the El Monterey. I bought them at Costco.
Exactly.
And then I immediately got these are chicken and cheese. I like the beef better.
Yeah, see, I'm the same way.
I got an email immediately after I bought them that was like, urgent recall notice. There have been pieces of metal found in some taquitos, and I haven't looked at the serial number to see if mine were the ones recalled, so I haven't eaten any.
Did you just say taquitos?
I think so.
Sure.
Is it not pronounced taquitos?
I'm in Kentucky, man. I'm no longer bound to the rules of California and correctly pronouncing Spanish words, if that's even a real Spanish word.
It's acceptable over there.
One of them Spanish words like taquito.
I don't say those Spanish words.
Listen, guys. I went to a Mexican restaurant tonight, and this happens every time me and people from church go. Everybody gets something called the pollo de jefe, but they say polo every time.
The chicken boss?
Yeah, chicken of the boss. It's a really good, basically white people Mexican food. It's chicken, cheese, and rice. They always say polo, and it hurts me a little bit, but they all do it unironically. They are
talking
too
about
proud.
Los Caz?
Well, so tonight we didn't go to Los Caz, but that's normally where they get that, and they say that. Yeah, we went to that Cello's place tonight. Los Caz had a worker sexually assault somebody, and so we've not been going there so much.
I really hope the mic didn't hear me laugh at that. I'm sorry.
Well, it didn't, but now we can hear you laughing.
I know why you did. It was just a very sudden, unexpected thing to say. It was so sudden.
It was like, we went to this one place, and somebody was sexually assaulted there. Okay,
I guess
so we don't go there anymore.
But they did deport the guy, so I mean, it's safe to go back.
Where there's one, there's more.
It's safe to go back.
Yes, Luke, because somebody's gonna look at you and go, "Yep, that's him. That's who I want." Yeah, no.
I mean, I do normally go with my girlfriend, who's like 5'2" and doesn't even weigh enough to make the airbag in my front seat turn on. So.
No, I'm gonna say you'd be the target.
Yeah. Well, okay, before we get any further, Luke, it's interrogation time. Who are you? Why are you? And how are you?
I'll answer that in reverse order. I'm doing wonderful today. It's 1 a.m. and my body thinks it's 7 a.m. I am a preacher, and I just got back from Zimbabwe, and I am cruising the slap happy high of sleep deprivation. But I live in Kentucky, and I preach, and I fish and hunt, and that's about what I enjoy doing. So I grew up in California. That's how I know all these guys.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's the
Luke?
very abbreviated version.
A little insight. Luke is my younger uncle. That's my relation.
No, that's so crazy. That
Which
I
is not
think
to
that
say-
is so crazy.
That's not to say I'm the youngest of his uncles. I am his uncle, and I am younger than him.
Josh,
Yes.
you have uncles that are younger than Luke?
No, that's
No,
not what he said.
I was-
I'm so
No.
lost. I'm so lost.
Oh, Logan.
I mean, he is my youngest uncle.
Hold on. No, Luke, don't Logan me. Okay. Here's the deal. Josh was like, yeah, Luke's my uncle. And I was like, you're lying to me. There's no way. I don't understand. Okay. I don't get it.
His mom is old, and she's my sister, and that's
Well, it's less that, and it's more your parents waited a long time to have you, so I was born before they had you.
that's your perspective. My perspective is your mom is old, and my sister.
I suppose that's fair.
Wait, what's the age difference between you and your sister, Luke?
I think it's like 19 or 20 years.
Were you an accident, baby?
No, I was the only one planned, I'm pretty sure.
Wow, that kind of shocks me. I'm not saying anything bad, but I'm like, generally whenever they have kids later in life, it was an accident, baby.
Well, so my dad wasn't a member of the church, and he had my two sisters before he was ever a Christian. I don't think he was married to Josh's grandmother, his mom's mom. And my dad became a Christian, married my mom. My mom never had children of her own. So I'm my mom's only biological child, although she raised both my sisters from the time they were like 5 and 7.
Gotcha. So she was like, I want
Yeah,
a
she
child
wanted
of
her
my
own child.
right. Well, blood child.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm putting everything together. It's just kind of weird whenever Josh is like, yes, that's my uncle. And I'm like, I never have known this information ever.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of a shock.
It's something you see more common in Mexican family trees, where you'll have relations like that, where it's they're technically like an above relation that's younger than you.
So when I was in Africa, I just met a family where the oldest sibling is a preacher who is 55 years old. His father just passed away. He was a preacher who was in his 70s. He had an 8-year-old daughter. So there is a over 40-year age gap.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's a lot. That blows my mind. It's like, finally, whenever you get to the point of like, well, I don't know what it's like in Africa, but here, like, you get to the point of retirement and no more kids. Like, my parents are living their best life, I think, without me and my brother living with them. And it's like, you get to the point of retirement, you're like, no more kids. And then you have a kid and you got to restart all over again.
Well, so over there, it's very common for widowers. You know, this older man, his wife passed away that he had his first family with, as they would say, to marry much younger women. So he married somebody that was like, I don't know, maybe even 30 years younger than him. And then
Good for him.
they always tend to want a family of their own. And so that's what ends up happening there.
I also imagine the home structure is very different there, where there's not so much burden on the singular mother and father to raise the children, as it's more of a group thing.
Well, that may be true. I still think it varies from family to family. They are getting more Western as far as all that goes. But
They walk around with gun belts.
What?
Sorry,
a lot of guys do walk around with guns over there.
I was thinking 6-shooters. So that's my bad.
Yeah.
But Josh,
not kind of Western.
that would be kind of cool. You just see Africa start switching back to like the Wild West, or not switching back, but going forward to the Wild West.
Are you saying they're behind in times?
I didn't directly say that, Josh. I'm sorry if that could be offensive in some sort of way. But Josh
I didn't say anything.
I know, but Josh, to hit on your point, Russians have that family structure that you were talking about. I work with a Russian. He has 12 kids.
Yeah.
11 or 12 kids. And all of his sons work, and all of his daughters and his wife, they stay at home, but the younger sons work.
Is he a Mennonite?
He's not a Mennonite. No, he's Russian Orthodox.
Well, that makes sense.
Oh.
Yeah,
They don't believe in
didn't call it.
contraception, and so it results in many children.
That's not. I talked to him about. That's not what he said.
Oh.
He's never specifically said that. He just said, "I wanted a lot of kids."
Yeah. That is a teaching of what they call the high churches, Catholics and Orthodox, is that people need to have as many kids as they can have.
Populate the earth.
Yeah, I said, "You're having so many kids because you're a Russian spy and you plan on building your own Soviet over here."
It sounds like this is a good friend of yours.
And he looked at me and he goes, "Don't tell anybody," and he walked away. I have him in my phone as the spy because I tell him all the time, "You're just a spy from Russia."
That's funny.
So, normal segment in the podcast, something interesting, and Luke, we're going to do you last because we know, us three know what your interesting thing was, and you can go into even more detail about it.
Okay.
Jacob's is going to be short, and Josh's, it could go for 20 minutes. So,
What do you mean? The only person who has gone on the only person who has consistently gone on like 10-minute long rants about their week is you, Logan.
It's not my fault that my life is sometimes exciting. Okay.
No, you just drag out boring things that don't need to be that long.
It's because I don't.
You talk about running into homosexuals and guns for 20 minutes.
Well, they're both interesting key points in my life. All right. I'm sorry.
Oh. Homosexuals are interesting key points of Logan's life.
Have you seen what they look like? Very interesting.
He lives in Oregon. It's fair.
Yeah.
It's basically gay capital of the world.
Yeah.
Is that true? Or is that Seattle?
I mean, you're home to Portland, so.
Portland used to be, I don't know if it is anymore, but it used to be like the gay capital of the U.S.
And Joplin, Missouri was in second place.
Something like
Which
that.
is crazy.
That does shock me.
It was San Francisco and Joplin, Missouri for a long time.
Yeah, San Francisco.
I forgot
Joplin.
California's gay. Yeah.
Austin's
that
up
was
there too,
because
actually.
when people were discharged from the Navy for being homosexuals, they would drop them off in San Francisco, and a lot of them didn't want to go home after that, and so they'd stay in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And also, the running joke is that Navy is the gayest branch of the military, so makes sense.
That's just kind of founded.
Yep. All right, Josh, tell me about your week. Talk to me, sir.
My week as a whole was relatively uninteresting. Today was definitely the most interesting day. I messed up the irrigation and flooded half the property, and then had to deal with that for most of the day. So that was fun. And I started my cut today.
Self-harm is bad, Josh.
No, that's not. It's more of a fitness thing.
No, he meant a haircut.
Yes, this is a haircut that's going to take maybe the next 2 months.
One hair a day.
Strange, but okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for me. See how short that was, Logan?
Almost as short as me. All right, Jacob. What about your week?
I'm eating taquitos.
No. That's about today. What about your week?
That's part of my week.
Jacob, what happened to you
What?
this past week?
Taquitos.
Oh,
Josh,
I think I ate taquitos on Tuesday too.
I told my dad, I was like, I think we're eating taquitos on the podcast. He goes, you got to move it along. I skipped past that part. You guys stayed on taquitos too long. So, Dad, I'm trying to save the podcast. I'm really trying. I know you listen to it. Because I was
so
like,
much-
I think... Because he's like, do you guys plan these out? And I'm like, well, sometimes I'm like, hey, what are we doing?
You skipping the best part.
And I call you guys, we talk about it or whatever. And then today I'm like, yeah, I think we're doing taquitos on the podcast. And he just gave me this look of dread. It almost looked like. And so
that's how I know that
taquito part.
That's how I know that
Does
a lot
he
of
not
the
like
things that we
taquitos?
think.
Oh, he likes taquitos.
What's
Not
wrong
enough,
with him?
apparently.
Yeah.
He just thinks that you guys. Well, I thought it was funny, but whenever you guys, I don't know what he thinks about this part, but whenever you guys were just like, there were no taquitos, shut up, and just kept yelling at me.
That was the best part.
Like,
I love that.
I'm pretty sure there was just like a solid 20 minutes of taquitos.
Possibly. It was the taquito episode.
Maybe.
What more do you want from us?
Yeah, we don't need taquito 2.0, or as Luke says, taquito 2.0.
Yep.
Hey, Jacob, what happened during your week besides taquitos?
Nothing important.
Yeah,
All
pretty
right.
much.
Okay. All right,
Didn't
Luke.
include taquitos.
Nope.
Shut up. Shut up. Luke, tell us your week is way more interesting than them two.
How long do you want me to go?
Not super long. Don't tell us every single
Still gotta
detail.
get to
Give
the
us some
fun
highlights.
questions.
A week ago today, I was in Africa still, and we were having a gospel meeting, and a man got up and taught, and he said something shocking, disturbing. Pick your adjective. He got up and he was talking about Paul in Thessalonica, Paul in prison and Demas forsaking him to go to Thessalonica, having loved this present world. And he went on and on about all the things that may have been in Thessalonica that led Demas away. And it was his attempt to make people say, oh, I'm tempted away by this or that, and I need to stop loving this present world. So he said, in Thessalonica, there may have been opportunities to make a lot of money. In Thessalonica, there may have been, all sorts of familial relationships that this man had. Or maybe it was just a beautiful city with a thriving social life. And the last thing he said, and keep in mind, we get all this through a translator.
I was about to say, is he speaking English or African?
This man is speaking Shona, and he says something, and he does a motion with his hands that puzzles me. And then the translator speaks, and he says, maybe there were big women in Thessalonica. and he moved his hands in front of his chest in such a way that was very suggestive of breasts. Yep. And so the guy was preaching that Demas might have left Paul because there were large bosoms in Thessalonica. And
big women.
Big women. That was how the translator chose to say it. I don't know how the actual preacher said it. But that was 1 week ago today.
It's like the big old women in San Antonio.
That's right. I hope people get that.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Look up big San Antonio women sometime.
It's a Charles Barkley bit.
I don't think that I want to. I have a girlfriend, and I don't want her knowing that I looked at.
Maybe be careful. No, it's a Charles Barkley thing. He always
preface that with Charles Barkley, San Antonio, or something like that.
For those of you who listen to our podcast, I know I say things out of pocket. Please, viewer discretion is advised if you're looking that up. I don't know what's there.
It should be fine if you look up Charles Barkley with.
No, he knows. He's been there.
What?
Okay,
What else?
question.
What else, Luke? No. Let's have Luke get one more. You two didn't say anything interesting. I want to hear about Luke.
You want me to
Supply.
get one more thing in there?
Yeah, give us something.
The plane ride home is 18 hours. And I did that on Wednesday. And I got on the plane, and there was nobody in my row. And I thought, I'm going to be able to lay down in the seat, which would be really nice because I'm too large, really, to be in those little economy class airplane seats. My knees are in the seat in front of me. And when people start to go to sleep and they recline their seats back, it just puts the whammy on me. I can hardly bear it. I thought I'm going to get to lay down across this whole aisle of 3 seats. And this random woman, right as we're taxiing to the runway, walks over and sits down in one of the seats in my row and turns and looks at me and says, I had this spot last time and I had it all to myself and I was able to lie down. And everybody around me was glaring at me like I'd done something criminal and basically told me that she got to lay down as she sat there and took the seat that wasn't her seat. She'd been sitting somewhere else and decided to move there because there was an empty seat between us. And I said, well, that's nice. I won't get to. And we didn't say another word for the rest of the flight.
So she just wanted to make sure you couldn't lie down because she got nasty looks for doing it.
Well, I don't know. I think she wanted that seat because there was a little more room there with the empty seat between us. But she pretty much informed me I got to lay down last time. And she said it in such a snarky way almost. And I said,
Was she like trying to
I almost
insinuate,
did
like
too.
she was trying to tell you that you should move so she could lay down again?
No,
That's what I
I
was
think
gonna
she
say.
was just she knew that I really wanted to be able to lay down, and she acknowledged that, but
So
made
she just
no
didn't
apology.
want you to?
No, well, no, she just wanted to sit there because there's more room, but she made no apology, and I was perturbed.
Some
They're
people are
using
just
big words.
confusing.
Yeah, I know it.
What does perturbed mean?
Similar
So-
to vexed.
What does that mean?
Miffed.
You need to expand your vocabulary, little boy.
No. No. I don't speak King James. Okay. Moving on to questions. Yes.
Yes.
Are we doing the Gabriel? Yeah, we are. I got to scroll
Yeah,
back.
Gabriel's question.
Gabriel T
Times.
in our Discord. Well, I'm just going to say T because that's his Discord name.
Whatever.
Who's running this whole shebang?
Yeah, stop doxing him, Jacob.
Yeah, quick. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Stop boxing me. All right.
No, okay.
That's not what he was referring to at all.
Moving on. Moving on.
I know what he said. Okay, Gabriel T. I'm just hitting on the fact that I'm dumb. Gabriel T asked the
Very good.
question. Oh, how much wood do you think a woodchuck could forcefully propel 3 feet if a woodchuck could chuck wood? And do you think you could beat their record throw weight? Luke, since you're the guest, how much wood do you think a woodchuck could forcibly propel 3 feet if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
I think that it would have to be a small enough particle of wood for it to sneeze, because that's the only way it's getting a piece of wood to go 3 feet.
Well, yeah. How big is a woodchuck? Or a
They're not tiny.
chunk.
I mean, bigger than a chihuahua.
What? Actually,
And he specifically said forcibly propel, so I'm going with the sneeze answer. He has a wood chip up his nose, and he sneezes, and it goes 3 feet.
Well, what about like hind legs? Like, what if they kicked it?
You know, if they stepped on a piece of wood that was, I don't know, leaning against something, it might fling up in the air just right to reach 3 feet distance.
you have to use the laws of gravity.
If there was a fulcrum.
A seesaw.
Do you think you could beat its record?
Yeah.
I think pretty
By how
easily.
far?
I don't know how much you paying me.
How much am I paying you?
Yeah, I get paid to stack firewood, man.
Oh, that's cool. All right. I didn't know how to respond to that. It kind of sounded sad, where he was like, "I get paid to stack wood."
I'm just tired.
No,
Yeah.
No,
I'm tired of stacking wood. I'm just tired of it.
no, that's not like my job. I'm just saying, if I were
You
to
just
do
stack wood.
he doesn't
I
do
wouldn't
free
pay
labor.
you to throw a stick.
well,
Well, how big is a
so,
stick?
when
Might be impressive.
we say how much would you beat its record by, are we talking volume or distance?
Distance. Same
Oh.
size, just distance.
How far
not
could
the
I
question.
forcibly propel a piece of wood?
This is okay.
That was the question. It wasn't Chuck. It was forcibly propel. I'm thinking that there's some type of ballistic equation here.
Bro, if
I'd be
there's-
sticking some wood in a cannon.
I think no.
No, that's not you.
no.
At the cannon.
Yeah, you yourself.
I can't use a tool. I can't like tie it onto the end of
No.
a fishing rod and fling it with a fishing rod.
No, you have to use your brute strength.
Use your bare hands.
Well, give me a piece about the size of a baseball, and I can throw it just far enough to hurt my shoulder.
I like the way you answered that because I understand. You're going to throw it hard, but it's going to hurt.
Very good, Logan.
Yep, final
No,
answer.
because I do that. You played, Luke, did you play baseball?
I did.
Do you have issues with your throwing arm now?
Not really. I just played Little League.
Oh, do you have issues with your throwing arm, Logan?
After I dislocated it, yeah.
Because you threw something too hard?
No, I was swinging an axe and I used to be a pitcher, but I was swinging an axe and it dislocated on the backswing.
You were
And,
a pitcher?
You're a
Yep.
pitcher? How much could you
You
hold?
weren't working with very much mechanical advantage.
No.
That's true. Wait, hold on. We did skip a question at the beginning about Luke. Luke, how tall are you?
I think I'm 6'4" or 6'5".
How tall am I, Luke?
5'3".
Yep,
Correct.
pretty close.
Yep.
Yeah, our baseball team went to state. And I was a pitcher. Yes.
You were a pitcher. That's
no,
an
I was,
important detail.
I was lead pitcher. I was starter.
Oh,
He
you
was
were
one of the
starter.
pitchers. He was one of the pitchers ever.
A
So
pitcher
you
what?
weren't
No,
the
no.
closer, is what I'm hearing.
I was the starter, middle, and closing. I was.
Was this a homeschool? Was this a homeschool co-op?
No,
Was this a homeschool co-op?
No, this was before co-op or homeschool. Wow. This was before homeschool. No, I played it.
So this was before all the other kids hit puberty and passed you up.
Absolutely, yes. Yes.
Okay.
No, you're absolutely correct. Absolutely 100% correct. I'm a little bit offended by that. Josh?
Well, you
offended
can't be a
me.
lot bit offended.
I just knew that you weren't the starting pitcher in high school. That's all I knew.
Not in high
built
school,
for it.
absolutely
You're
not.
not built for it.
No.
No, I'm not. All right. I can never
You
be good
could
at
probably be
anything
a
because
really
I'm not
good.
built for it.
You could probably be a really good bull rider. You have the build for that.
Or a horse jockey.
Horse
What
jockey.
build? Hold on. What build
Horse
do
jockeys
I
need to be
have?
skinny. Well, just short
Yeah.
guys normally
Skinny?
score better.
He's
I'm
skinny.
not fat anymore, Luke.
Yeah, but
skinny.
you're not scrawny. Horse jockeys like wear sweatsuits and
Yeah,
drain
well, that's true.
every ounce of excess weight from their body because ounces matter to them.
That is true. But you said I don't have the build for it. What build do I have?
You're not built like a twig. You're a strong little man.
I don't like that either.
You're more like a branch.
I'm
You're a limb. You're a limb.
Yeah.
You guys are just jerks.
You're like a hardy sapling.
Yeah. Like
Just starting out.
to break a sapling or a limb of that size, I would close my eyes or squint a little because
Your physique
Yeah.
is
it
similar
would
to a
take some
fern.
force. No, he's better than a fern.
I'm going to start saying the most offensive things on this podcast in about 2 seconds. We are getting canceled. The PC police does not matter anymore. You guys, all right. Josh, Jacob, we're not even going to ask the question
What
about
was the
woodchucks
question?
for you guys. No,
Oh.
I'm not
That's
going to.
just
You guys
that's just
look at me.
disrespectful to Gabriel.
No, Gabriel, you can blame them. They did it. They chose violence. I have to
Sounds like you're the one
retaliate.
making the choices here.
All right, fine, Josh. How much wood could a woodchuck propel?
In the time that all those shenanigans happened, I was able to give this a great amount of thought. And
Oh boy.
woodchucks, similar to other marmots, are very, very frontal focused animals. Their front legs and their shoulders and their necks are very strong and well built. They're made for pushing and pulling with the front of their bodies.
How long is this going to take, Josh?
If
I
it was
would
digging a
say-
hole,
I would say that given their pulling and pushing and front body capabilities, if a woodchuck were to grab a piece of wood in its mouth, it would have a pretty good chance of throwing a pretty decent amount of wood at fair distance.
Oh, brother,
I would say,
this guy stinks.
That's what I'm saying.
thank you. That was the creature feature there.
I forgot he was here. I immediately was like, wow, Luke's voice changed a lot.
golden comedic timing. That was wonderful.
I'm going to say a 3 to 5 pound log, 3 foot.
Mercy, how big is your woodchuck?
I think they're about a 2 foot animal, roughly. A 3 to 5 pound log is not that much. I think it could throw that 3 feet.
Josh, you want to see?
Calm yourself, brother. Calm yourself,
Good.
brother.
Want to see how to properly answer this question? Jacob, answer the woodchuck question.
I could throw it over them mountains.
That's not all right.
He answered the part of the question that you didn't.
Yeah.
You
That's
didn't
not
answer how
an
far-
answer to either of those questions.
You didn't answer
Yeah.
how far you could throw the wood. He said he could throw it over them
Again,
darn
that's what I
mountains.
was saying. The distance was never a metric that he asked. He was asking about throw weight.
Oh, well, that's
That's what I was saying. That wasn't the
about
question.
that.
Wow.
Logan said distance. I
I
asked.
did.
Logan said
I
distance.
did.
That's why I was correcting you. Were like, no, that was the question.
Whatever weight it takes for me to throw it over them mountains.
I just want to say, because of my build, I have a hard time reading. So,
What?
Does it affect your eyes?
The
yeah,
screen isn't at eye level for him. He has to.
Yeah,
it's I
he
kind
has
of
to peek over a desk.
Yeah.
I run and jump in my recliner, then have to pull myself up, and
He types one
It's,
key at a time. He has to jump on them to.
I have to
He has to
run
run
across the
across.
phone screen to type.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, we're done with the woodchuck question.
I think so. That would be ideal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Enough from you, scientific person.
Okay.
Okay, Luke's questions. I'm still mad about earlier. Anyways, Luke's questions. Would you
Get over
rather?
it.
I can't. I'm under it.
Okay, well, crawl under it. Either way, get past it.
I got an army crawl. Would you rather always have to fish alone, or always have to hunt with others? Josh?
I grew up hound hunting, so for me, this is a hound hunting question. I have never had a problem hound hunting with others, so I would say hunt with others.
Even if you went deer hunting, though, you'd have to. Any type
If
of
we're
hunting you do
talking-
for the rest of your life.
If we're talking
type
about
of
any
hunting.
type of hunting, I would rather
Yes.
always fish alone.
Okay.
Always fish alone.
See, it doesn't say that you can't pick the people you hunt with.
Yeah, you absolutely can. It just you can't go hunting unless you have somebody else with you.
I think that's fine. The only headache probably about hunting with other people is the picking the wrong partner.
That's a fair point.
Yeah. Or
It-
sometimes if you want to be stealthy, less people is stealthier than more people.
Absolutely. Like
I just leave Logan back in the truck.
Jacob,
Just depends what type
Then you're
of
not
hunting.
hunting with them.
I love
he's
how Jacob's
there.
like, I'll leave him in the truck. Jacob, you don't even hunt. You have no say in it.
So
I am stealthy when I need to be.
I know, bro. You walking, and I can't even hear you. There's
It's
not
easy
enough
when you weigh
weight
12 whole
contacting the
pounds.
ground to
Yeah.
make a noise.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll take that as a compliment. Thanks. Okay. Luke, answer the question.
Well, I think both of these are terrible, but if I had to pick the lesser of two evils, I'd rather always have to hunt with others. I'd like to fish with other people. I have some good Bible studies fishing with people. I'll take people out in the boat and talk to them.
Oh,
about it.
yeah.
That's a good time.
The best conversations happen when fishing with a friend, I think.
Well, and with the Bible study, it's extra good because I'm trying to get them in the water, and the only way they can get away from me is to get in the water.
Makes your baptism real easy. Yeah.
Okay.
Next question.
Next. Somebody's going to take my job. What's the worst workplace accident you know about?
Hmm.
This doesn't have to be like a gory accident, by the way. It's what's a big goof up?
I mean, big goof up. Like, just what happened?
Like
you did
something somebody
bad.
did at work that really went poorly. That you could describe it as the worst.
As an accident, yeah.
It doesn't have to be someone getting hurt. It could be like a serious monetary disaster of some kind.
Yeah, big
I
accounting error
know
could work, but getting hurt also counts. You know,
something
like
that happened to one of Logan's dad's clients or his friend. Because I don't remember if it was one of his clients or it was one of his clients' business and somebody that worked there. But I think your dad knew who he was, so he used it was a machine that he always ran all the time, and he knew how to use it, but something went wrong one time and it crushed him.
Are you talking about the tractor running over that guy's son?
No.
that's
not
nothing what he just said.
Why would you? I would have said the word tractor, but I don't know what the
You said,
machine
it was a machine, but a tractor is a machine.
I think I know what a tractor is.
I mean, to be fair, that sounds like a pretty bad one too.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think, and I'm like, I don't remember this one, but I do remember somebody getting ran over by a tractor. How
do you even do that?
I think I don't remember what he was doing.
It kept going.
He was just chilling out in the field, having grand time. Didn't hear a tractor coming.
Ghost driver.
I was into that.
No, I think he was running the tractor. I don't know. I have to ask my dad that story. I don't know what story you're talking about. I don't remember.
Josh, what's the worst one you know of?
Hey, that's progress. The first one that comes to mind actually happened when I was in high school. I went to a sort of a trade school at the high school level, and we were in fabrication. So it was like working in a fab shop, but for high schoolers. And there's a machine there called a finger brake. It's for clamping down on metal and then bending it so you could get a long, consistent angle.
Did somebody take it too literally?
Yeah, finger break is kind of an ironic name. This machine is supposed to be run by only one person at a time, but what some foolish individuals will do is they'll have one person hold the piece of metal to line it up, while the other person runs the controls to clamp it down. That's a terrible decision. But two students did it anyway, and one kid had their finger underneath the clamps when it clamped the piece of metal, and it clamped down on his finger, and then he ripped his finger out from underneath it and degloved his finger. Yeah.
Oh my, that's the worst.
That was a pretty rough one.
That's the worst. Then you just have a little flesh thimble stuck in the machine.
Apparently, they were able to to re-glove his finger. I think he permanently lost the fingernail. That was something that couldn't come back. But other than that, it turned out eventually okay, but not okay at the initiation of it.
I'm glad he had a semi-successful reglovery.
Yeah, everyone loves a good regloving.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Luke.
Yeah.
See how quickly I moved on, Josh?
That was good. I'm proud of you.
That was good.
Yeah, don't act like no. Luke?
So can I give two?
Yeah.
I don't know. Ask Josh.
So the first one, this is a story that I've heard Billy Dickinson tell, where his dad worked in a metal foundry, and they have those great big vats of molten metal, and they move them around with what I imagine to be something like a forklift. That they have heavy equipment that does that. Somehow or another, it was raining, the ground was wet, and one of those big vats of molten metal got turned over. And the way Billy Dickinson tells it is that the molten metal poured out and just spread everywhere on the working floor. And most guys were able to jump up on something or run out of the way, but he says there was one guy who the metal, as he was running away, overtook him and burned his feet off. And Billy says, and he was running on his nubs. And he said that in a sermon. And that was quite a picture for me as a young lad. And that's the worst, actual workplace injury that pops into my mind. Using the word accident loosely, another preacher, Edwin Morris, was preaching and started to get kind of a cough. And somebody brought him a glass of water. And in the duration of him preaching, he was shuffling through his notes and accidentally knocked over the glass of water. It was up on the pulpit.
Oh.
But the pulpit was the type that, it's kind of hidden from view from the audience what you have on there. There's the actual little table where you set your stuff, and there's the ledge around it. Well, he knocks the cup of water over, and somebody stands up, and he says, sit back down, we'll clean it up after services. Well, that person didn't know that he'd spilled his water. That person was getting up to go to the bathroom.
Oh.
And to everybody in the audience, Edwin Morris just said, sit back down, we'll clean it up after services. And that was a workplace fumble for him, and he had to apologize to that man later and explain what had happened. But
that's pretty funny. Now, can the accident involve a workplace but not happen at the workplace?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, somebody died. And it's like the worst. It was an accident, but it involved my work, and we're in a lawsuit over it right now. Like, I've had to talk to lawyers.
Are you able to speak about it?
Yeah, it sounds like it might be an NDA situation.
Not.
No, it's not. I talk to people about it because the lawsuit's going away and they got nothing on us. The only reason I'm involved with it
mean that you can talk about it.
I can talk about it. It's been happening for a while. I haven't had to sign anything. I haven't had to say anything. Like
Did your
saying
work
that
sign
I won't
anything?
say anything. Nope. So, well, because they're trying to pull a lawsuit out of nothing, just because we're the one who manufactured the sauna for this country club, and they couldn't sue the country club, so they're trying to sue us. So
the door got stuck shut and the guy died in the sauna.
No. So pretty close though.
Oh.
And the only reason I'm like, this is the worst accident that I know of, and I'm pretty sure it's happened twice, just in a different way. So this lawyer comes in, and we're talking, or they're talking to my boss and everything, and then my boss comes up to me and he goes, pretty soon that guy's going to come back. That's a lawyer, and he's going to ask you some questions. Just answer him honestly. I got involved in it because I built the sauna. This lady went to a country club when nobody was there, hardly anybody was there, went inside the sauna, turned the heat up really, really hot. She was an older lady, and she decided she would take a nap in the sauna. And basically dehydrated herself so much she died. And the sauna kept going, and it kept going, and it kept going, and it kept getting hotter, and it kept getting hotter, basically till she died. And she just, I don't know what the picture is like.
Steamed like broccoli.
But basically, from what I know, her internal organs did something. And that's the worst thing that I know about that involves a workplace, because we're directly now involved in it. But I'm like, imagine dying in a sauna. You just fall asleep and your body boils itself.
Yeah. It's not usually to the extent of dying, but like causing health, like injury is not a good word for it. I don't know what word to use, but
a lot of people
harming
get
yourself in
heat stroke.
saunas. Yes, people don't realize how dangerous saunas can be and use them incorrectly or stay in too long without realizing that they're messing themselves up pretty often.
Especially when they go into a cold plunge right after, and they can send their body into shock.
Oh yeah, and it was an accident, but at the same time, who goes into a sauna and is like, I'm gonna take a nap? Yeah. I felt so bad for that lady. But
I mean, how do they know that she decided to take a nap?
She was laying, from what I know, she was laying down on one of the benches, because we do provide these nice benches with what's called a headrest with a pillow, like a bamboo pillow. And the way that she was laying apparently indicated that she was taking a nap and or fell asleep in that position. So that's where they're trying to pull the case from. It is so annoying, because the lawyers come in and they're like, she died in your sauna because your sauna is defective. No, she died because it was an accident, because she fell asleep in a sauna. So that's
not even the good legal argument. They're
trying so many things.
Yeah, the sauna being defective wouldn't be a good argument. I would say the best argument you have there is by creating a place where you could lay down with the headrest, you've insinuated that it is reasonable to sleep in a sauna.
Well, also, here's the thing. We have a plaque that we put up on all of country club saunas. So whether it be resort, country club, a public space, we have a plaque that we put up that states the rules and what's not safe as a warning. And one of them is do not sleep in a sauna.
Yeah.
So
I know
they can't get us there.
A lot of them have like a little timer on the heating.
Yes.
That you have to manually turn it back on like every 30 minutes so that you don't just sit there and bake yourself.
Yep. This one specifically, you could not do that. But the thing where the lawyer was trying to get me is he asked me, how hot do your heaters get? Are they supposed to reach a certain level and shut off? Does it get to this temperature? Do you have issues? So they're trying to basically say the heater got too hot, but you can put the heater as hot as you want. Russian people are crazy. They will take the thermostat, the pulmonary bulb in there, cut it off, tuck it inside a wall and out to the exterior so it will never reach max heat.
Oh, that makes sense.
It is crazy. But, all right. Next question. Have you ever, as an adult, pooped your pants? Jacob?
I felt targeted.
Yeah. You decided to pick on me first. I haven't, but my brother has, and it's a really funny story.
All right, way to throw him under the bus.
I want to so bad because it's so funny.
Do it. Throw him under the bus.
Okay,
that's why he went first.
So,
yeah, I was going to say that felt really targeted. There was a reason for that.
Hold on, Jacob. Tell them what he keeps in his vehicle.
What does he keep in his vehicle?
Toilet paper?
No, doesn't he keep a spare pair of underwear in his glove box?
That's just sensible.
Happened?
Yeah.
I always have
maybe he does. I don't remember saying that, but
I keep a spare change of clothes that I call my baptizing clothes. I guess
that's different. I don't keep a pair of underwear in my glove box like I may poop myself today.
I don't keep stuff for that reason, but I keep a spare change of clothes in my truck all the time.
Yeah, Josh is prone to chase after wild animals and end up in a ditch or something and need to change.
Right, Jacob, tell the story.
Let's not talk about the boss.
there was a week where he had some bad stomach issues. You know, bad times in the bathroom, and
no, elaborate further.
No,
I don't think I will.
He said, the
Taco Bell stuff.
Hershey squirts. We get it.
Yeah.
Oh my.
This was before he was married to his now wife. And he was sitting. He went over to her house and he was sitting in her room.
No.
And he felt a fart coming on. So he thought he'd just push it out. Something else came with it. And it was juicy. And it went through his underwear and his pants and made a stain on our carpet floor.
Oh my goodness, dude.
Oh.
I cannot imagine in your girlfriend's room not only browning your britches, but browning the carpet.
She married him. That is
he said after that, if she still stays with me, I know she's the one.
Yeah, that's fair, dude.
Loved him.
To all those men there that aren't certain, if you don't know if your girlfriend's the one, go poop on her carpet.
Yeah, see what she does. Luke, have you tried this method?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Oh,
no.
Maybe. Do you think you might try this method?
Yeah.
Not on purpose, no.
We'll see what the limitations are.
Hey, somebody in Kentucky needs to slip him some laxatives.
I don't think so. If somebody does that, I will find you, and there will be consequences.
Okay, so Luke, have you ever accidentally pooped your pants in your adult life?
Well, it's always come from trusting a fart, and I don't think it's happened much.
Yeah.
But it's always been like I can fix this by going and sitting on the toilet real quick. It's never browned my britches, as Josh said.
Oh, like it stays in the cheeks type of situation.
It
hasn't breached the cheek yet.
Yeah. Now, for somebody like Joseph, who's not here with us, and so we can pick on him, that would never work.
Yeah.
The lack of cheeks would not be conducive to.
There's no dam to hold back the flood there.
That's right. The levee is too small.
Yeah.
Hey, Josh.
Absolutely.
Tell us the story.
It's pretty much it's pretty much the exact same thing. Every now and again, you trust one, and it's a little too close for comfort. You get a little cheek deposit. It doesn't quite make it to the shorts, and you gotta go take care of it.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, there was one time, and I don't play that game.
There was one time I really thought I was going to poop my pants. I went to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee with Eric Bullock. And he told me there was this hibachi place that he goes in there. And every time he eats, he said ever since he's a little kid, his grandparents would take him there. Every time he'd eat there, they would have to rush him back to the cabin they were staying in so he could sit in the toilet. And for whatever reason, he wanted to go there. And so we went there, and he said, I think it's the teriyaki that does it. And Eric has really irritable bowels anyway. He always has issues with that type of thing. So he got something without the teriyaki. And I got something with the teriyaki because I thought, I'm not Eric. I have a pretty strong stomach. I normally don't have irritable bowels. And we went and walked around some different little shopping mall things. And I told him at one point, I said, I'm going to have to go sit in the pot here pretty soon. And he said, oh, brother, we've just been to the hibachi. You better go find it right now. And I said, no, it'll be fine. It's not a big deal. And probably 5 minutes later, there is a sudden, almost unstoppable immediate need to go and sit on the toilet. And I started to walk there, and I could tell I was losing the battle.
No, that's the worst feeling.
And I had to stand there in this very public place and pause and collect myself and stand there in very obvious distress. And wait for it to recede a little bit so that I could continue my walk to the bathroom.
Oh, it's prairie dogging?
That's the worst when you're so close that with every step you feel the gates open just a little bit.
I wasn't prairie dogging. It was all liquid, man. It was monstrous. But I have never willed for something not to happen so hard.
Did you say a little prayer?
I didn't.
Please just let me make it to the bathroom.
Maybe I should have. Maybe in my direst moment like that, I should have thought to pray.
I always think about that in hindsight. Like maybe that.
I feel like perhaps your desperate hope was akin to prayer.
Yeah. Some Romans 8 stuff. The Spirit makes intercession with groanings that cannot be heard. There were not necessarily groanings, but I could not utter.
More rumblings than anything.
There were rumblings. But no, noises. I've never had to collect myself like that. And I told Eric about it later. He wandered off with his wife to look at overpriced camping gear, and he doesn't even camp. And it was all he could do to collect himself. He was laughing so uproariously.
Okay, we'll move on to the next question.
That's pretty good.
So Josh has, Luke has, and Jacob has not yet. His adult life is we're still in it.
Have you, Logan?
Next question.
Have you, Logan?
I think.
Hold on.
I don't know.
If you guys haven't noticed, I haven't answered some of the questions.
No, I've been noticing. I wasn't going to call it out.
About this one.
That's supposed to be Jacob's thing.
Not in my adult life, but I have before.
Then you could have just said no and gotten away with it, but now we want to hear
you've just told us that as a kid you used to dookie in your pants.
Well,
around the bed, not even asleep.
I think I was probably 16 or 17. I can't remember.
Not even potty
trained. It was really close. It was really close to adulthood.
That's close enough, yeah.
I was really sick, and my parents went to church, and I was deathly ill with the flu or something. I was laying on the couch, and I woke up. I didn't even know that I had to go. And it wasn't from trusting a fart. I sneezed.
The shotgun method.
Every action has an equal and opposite reaction.
Yeah, you wanted to paint your walls or something.
And I sneezed, and I went. I didn't know that I had to use the bathroom. I do know that I used the bathroom.
It made it immediately prevalent.
yeah, I had a quick realization that I had to go, and I no longer had to go anymore. So that was mine. So shotgun method.
Yeah.
Dude, I wish I could do that on the toilet.
Now,
Dude,
now
I
hold
have
on.
before. I have. I also just told a story to Jacob at our Bible study where Micaiah, one of my guys at work, I was like, dude, where have you been? And he's like, I had to go to the bathroom. I was like, dude, you've been in the bathroom for a while. I needed you out here. Like, I had a job for him to do. And he's like, here's the deal. I had to pee really bad. And I was standing there and I was peeing and I sneezed and I pulled at the same time and I peed all over the wall. And he was like, it was everywhere. And the motion that he made cracked me up. And he said, I went and I cleaned the floor, I bleached it, I mopped it, I wiped up the wall. And I was like, what amazes me is the wall. Like, what's the new record? How high did you get on the wall? But sneezing while using the bathroom, not a great idea.
There is nothing.
Unless you're sitting down.
There is nothing so humbling as having to clean up your bathroom after yourself, or clean up a bathroom after yourself.
Yes.
I saw a toilet seat once at a friend's house. This is another bachelor guy that lives alone. I lifted up his toilet seat lid to go pee. Right in the back center of the underside of the toilet seat, there was this massive smear. And I thought, how on earth did he get that there? How the physics don't make sense. Do you understand what I'm saying?
That sounds like one of those. That sounds like one of those breaching whale type situations.
It did a U-turn.
I don't know. I don't know what happened, but I looked at that and I said, I never would have imagined that there would be a poop stain right there on a toilet seat.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Hey, Jacob, what time are we at right now?
I don't know.
We've been going an hour and 5 minutes or so.
Okay, so quick little host meeting. So I have this last question, and then I have the one that Luke asked yesterday that me and Jacob wanted to ask. Can we do that?
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
I mean, are they both Luke
Josh
questions?
know that?
Yeah, they're both Luke questions.
They're both
I don't
Luke's
look at
questions.
questions ahead of time.
Yeah. So cool. All right. So 2 more questions.
Hold on. But before we move on, I'd like to ask our captive creature if he has ever had an adult poop accident.
An adult dookie?
Yeah.
An adult dookie.
I love how he just comes in.
All right, listen. So, you know when you were a kid and there was like a public pool? Right?
Oh, no.
and you're listen,
It's looking good.
and you're having like a fun time and everything, and then like the staff yells at you to like get out of the pool, right? And you figure out that a kid ruined all your fun because he decided to lay one down inside of the pool. That kid is me.
That kid is you or was you?
Currently.
You browned the pool at Tulloch Lake.
You dropped
threw
a
stickers in there?
The entire lake.
Well, you know that little your family had access to that little pool sectioned off swimming area, right?
Oh no, I did not do that one. It's connected to the rest of the lake. The only thing separating it is those little like floating devices, whatever they're called.
Yeah, it's just a rec area on the waterfront.
Yeah, so if I did take a turd, then nobody would even notice. So it's even better. But no, when I was really really young, when I was like, not really really young, but like 10 or something. Potty trained definitely, but I had to go so bad, and I was in the middle of the deep end, so I dropped a deuce.
So you're like in crystal clear water with a bunch of people around. Nobody will notice. I'm just gonna do it right here.
Just kind of shake it out of the swim trunks and move on.
Yeah. Let it fall out of the leg.
Hope it's solid.
That's a weird fish.
Call that one a brown trout.
Yeah.
All right. You can go back to the shadows now.
All right.
Yeah, go back to
I'll
yourself.
go back to my cage.
Yeah. I didn't even think to ask. Thank you, Josh. I love you for that. Thank you. Okay, next question. Again, these are all Luke questions. Elaborate on the usefulness of the courtesy flush and maintenance wipe. I want to comment before I ask this. I'm pretty sure Arnold Schwarzenegger, I can't remember which movie, but there was a dude that came into a stall next to him and was completely blowing up the bathroom. And Arnold yells over the stall, "Hey man, can I get a courtesy flush?" And the guy responds, "Yeah, no problem," and gives him a courtesy flush. I'm pretty sure that was an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. So that's what that made me think of. So is it? Somebody said yes.
Yes.
It is.
It doesn't come from that, but
right. That's what I thought of when I read it. So, Luke, elaborate on the usefulness of the courtesy flush and maintenance wipe. I'm intrigued to know what your idea of a maintenance wipe is.
So, I'll just tell you guys what they are, and we can elaborate together because this is a hard thing to ask one person.
Is a maintenance wipe like if you're peeing and you get some spittle on the toilet seat and you have to wipe it off?
No.
Oh, okay.
So
you should always do that anyways.
The courtesy flush, I think we all know. That's when you're letting a stinky one go.
Yeah.
And you're especially in a public place or in somebody's house that you don't want them to hate you. And as soon as it hits the bowl, you flush so that it doesn't have too much exposure to the open air.
Yeah. Dude, I'll do that for myself.
The maintenance wipe is when you haven't necessarily used the bathroom, but you feel like you need to wipe still. It's just getting a little swampy, and you're just doing some upkeep, you know.
I didn't know if like you were talking about maintenance wipe, like after you get done using the restroom and you finally get that piece of toilet paper that comes clean, you grab another piece just to double check.
I was thinking by maintenance wipe, he was referring to a wipe in between logs, so to speak. And that just seemed like pure foolishness.
You keeping the runway clear?
If you think about it, what I described is a wipe in between logs.
I suppose any wipe.
I guess it is.
Wipe there, yeah.
You want to get technical.
I suppose the post-log wipe is a wipe. Yeah, is a wipe in between logs.
Okay, so we got.
So have y'all ever utilized these tactics?
Oh yeah, I've used a maintenance
all
wipe.
the time.
Definitely.
Especially in the summer when I'm hot and sweaty and working in 100-degree weather. Sometimes you just feel gross. You just gotta do a little maintenance wipe.
Yeah.
I'll say the maintenance wipe is a common occurrence when you're dealing with the aforementioned fart of betrayal. Sometimes you let one go and you think it may have been a fart with some material, and you go for the maintenance wipe to find out.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, how many people are going to listen to this podcast be 90% about dumps?
Oh, it's great.
I mean, like 90%
we've
is an exaggeration.
Asked quite a few questions, but these are the two that have provoked the most discussion, and I think that's wonderful.
These are the important questions.
Questions.
We don't fear talking about them. Things happen, and daily maintenance and or courtesy flush. We're actually talking about how to be more proper while using the restroom.
Yeah, end the stigma. Absolutely. Talk about these things. Yeah.
If we don't talk about these things, nobody will ever know about the courtesy flush.
If you don't courtesy flush, you're an animal. I want to say that.
Yeah, to Logan's note,
myself.
Yeah, to that note, I think you should courtesy flush for yourself, because what self-respecting individual wishes to marinate their extremities in their own stink?
And I'll also say, when you courtesy flush following the first log, the second log does not smear the first log into the bowl as badly and so you don't end up with skid marks on the bowl.
If that happens at somebody's house, I will immediately go, do they have cleaning supplies like spray in here, or is it just the brush?
You want to leave no evidence?
I'll clean the bowl for them because I kind of think it's a little disrespectful.
You lick the bowl for them?
It's not cake batter, Jacob. They're not doing that.
It might used to have been, but it's not anymore.
Yeah, it's processed.
Yep. Eliminated.
Okay, so are we moving on to the last question?
I think everybody answered.
Yeah.
Okay. Creature feature. I would like you to step in on this question.
Okie dokie.
Wait, where's this question? I can't find it.
So we're going to. I'm going to ask the question, and everybody, do not spit out your answers. I'm going to go one by one, and I want you to all individually give a reason why.
Oh, it's at the bottom.
Luke
This
Goad
one's
asks,
great.
why is Josh single? And we'll end it with Josh because he's going to be the one with the wrong answer.
Yeah, he doesn't know.
We're going to start with our creature feature. Mason, why is Josh single?
Because he's waiting for me.
Okay, you can go back to your shadows. Get out of here.
Hey, that's my line.
Yeah, is that now? Jacob can't use that. You ruined it, Mason.
Uh-huh.
Is that your actual answer?
My actual answer? No, I know he's not waiting for me. I know he doesn't love me enough. Why is Josh single? Because they can't handle his masculine aura.
That's just because he hasn't had a maintenance wipe in a while.
Yeah, he's radiating that masculine aura.
It's because he doesn't courtesy.
His aura is the stink.
Oh no!
His masculine aura is green.
Thank you.
Green.
Thank you.
Green stink.
Thank you, creature feature. Go back to your hole.
Okay.
Jacob, why is Josh single?
Well, it's kind of hard to find somebody when you don't talk to anybody.
Amen.
So you're just, and Josh, I do not want to hear any arguing while we're answering this. You can defend yourself at the end.
No, I've done my best to stay very quiet.
Yep, you're doing great. we love you. We do. It's just women don't.
Yeah, I know.
I'm so happy. So, Jacob, you think because Josh does not talk to women, that's why he is single?
Oh, absolutely. One time he was going somewhere, and I said, "Oh, there's gonna be girls there. You should like talk to them." And he says, "I am gonna talk to them. I'm gonna say hi," and then walk away. And then that's.
Do you think it's
that's
because
the extent of his girl talk? Yeah.
Is he afraid to talk to women, or is it just he doesn't know what to say to women?
Yeah, he doesn't know what to do with his hands. He gets all sweaty. He starts pacing back and forth. He might think he needs a maintenance wipe.
All right, that's a solid answer. Luke, why is Josh single?
Because he doesn't do what I tell him to.
Whoa.
True. Amen.
All right, elaborate.
Josh needs to go to meetings where there will be eligible women, and he
What
does
is
not.
an eligible woman?
A woman
the age of 18?
that is yes, and that is likely to date him. Not listen. You have to think of it this way. Josh is a fisherman; he'll understand this. You can go to an area of a lake that's full of fish, but if the fish there aren't biting, then you go somewhere else. He needs to go.
You throw something fake out there.
The problem is he's just throwing an empty hook out there. He has nothing on his hook. There is no bait.
So, there's several problems here. He needs to try harder. Part of that is going where there will be more women. Part of that is talking to them. And part of that is when Luke tells him, talk to this one, and, that one will be a bad idea. If he listens to me, then he won't waste time talking to the ones that it's not going to go anywhere, and he'll end up talking to the ones that I'm pretty confident something will happen. Because
what a wonderful uncle you have, Josh.
I'm the ultimate wingman, and he's not been appreciative of that. I'm going to say something funny. Just about every girl I've dated has gotten married immediately after me to one of my good friends. So
you're saying while they were dating you, they were looking at your friends and going, that one's better.
Yeah. So what you're saying is you have some pretty good-looking friends.
Yeah, and Josh is one of those.
Hey, Luke, am I your friend?
Yeah.
Well,
not one of the good-looking ones.
I'm not gonna date any more girls, so you're out of luck. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Hey, can you be Jacob's wingman and start looking out for girls for him? I've tried.
I can.
Yeah, but problem is those are all
he might not be able to
Kentucky.
go to the Oregon 4th meeting. No, there's very few girls in Kentucky. Most of them are in other.
Fantastic.
Jacob's moving to Kentucky.
There's one or two here that are real, bona fide, genuine redneck girls that would be about the right age. But
what's the right age
for him?
Yes,
probably 18 to 20. How old are you, Jacob?
That's 20. A good answer. That's good.
Yeah, 18 to. You could get away with a 17-year-old that's graduated high school.
Don't say it like that. No. Don't say you could get away with it.
Oh boy.
Listen, in the church, dating is different because in the world, people date to hook up, and that's wrong.
Thank you, creature.
You're just dating to get to know somebody, and once they're out of high school, there's nothing wrong with getting to know them.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm going to answer why I think the reason Josh is single. I have no idea. But what I do have confidence in is Josh is single. Number one, you can't force him to talk to somebody he doesn't want to talk to.
Yes, I can.
Hold on.
I've tried. I think I could.
It has to click. He's going to talk to the girls he finds interesting. And then eventually, he's going to talk to a girl that he's comfortable with that's going to want to talk to him too. And that's going to be perfectly fine.
But what
Josh
if he never
is single
talks
because
to any
Josh... I bet he talks to girls. Without you guys knowing, I bet he talks to girls that he's comfortable with. He really does. He's not a kiss and tell kind of guy. I am, but we established that whenever Jacob and I went on our date.
What?
Yeah. That was what podcast was that on? I don't remember, but Josh called me out for kissing and telling. Was it really?
Yeah.
I remember like it was last Saturday. Josh,
Crazy.
Why are you single?
So
I defended you, just so you know.
Here's how I would like to approach this. I would like to offer my counter for each of your arguments. So
why am I? I was being nice.
No, well, just it's not a counter.
I'll be
aggressive.
silent as you were silent.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
I would say my issue with Luke's point is Luke wants me to leave California and go back east to find a girlfriend. My biggest counter... Sure, go ahead.
You could also snag one from back east and bring her to California. There are several that are willing to do that.
Yes, but the problem with that is I do not care for a long-distance relationship. The relationship that you must have before getting to a point where it makes sense to move someone to your state. I cannot travel as often as some people can to keep long distance relationships functional. I think some people can get away with it. I personally do not think that I could sustain a long distance relationship very well. So I don't care to start one. I think it would be unwise.
Hey, next.
My counter to Jacob's argument is he's kind of right. I don't.
That's not a counter.
He's kind of right. I don't talk to women my age. I talk to women my age pretty.
Please word it differently.
You talk to older women usually.
No, I talk to women my age.
Older women.
No.
What?
You just
said
it kind of alarmed us when you said not your age.
I was yes. So I do talk with girls my age, but it's very casual, small talk. I don't get in deep conversations with many women my age. I feel like that's where a lot of stuff starts.
And that's one step away from just asking if you want to go out on a date.
Yes. So the other problem with like why I don't talk to women as much is because I've been on a very long stint where for quite a few years it was just simply a lack of self-confidence. Like I didn't like where I was physically, spiritually, pretty much everything. I didn't have any interest in dating. And then more recently, it's kind of become an issue of the people that I take the most interest in are people that I don't want to settle. I want to present myself as good as I can. And I feel like there's stuff that I want to fix and take care of before I start presenting myself as someone would want to date.
You're supposed to grow together.
That's true. I'm also scared of women.
Understandable. Never mind.
He's not really scared of women.
No, I'm not scared. I'm not scared of women.
I thought we could relate.
I very much like the idea of just asking a woman on a single date to go on a single date together. I personally think that's kind of fallen out of practice, but I've been told that I'm incorrect about that. That's still very common. I'm happy about that.
You're incorrect.
Can I tell you what my methodology was?
Sure.
Send them all to your friends.
Be a preacher and tall.
Well, no. Find women that are your friends and have them do research for you into who you need to talk to and ask out. Because women love to play matchmaker. They will do it gladly and be thrilled to be involved. And you will know whether or not you're wasting your time before you start asking people on dates, etc.
Well, here's the thing. I already have, I have people in mind that I would like to try my hand with, take on a date, stuff like that. But I don't feel that I am not going. No, that's not happening.
Don't say people, by the way. Women don't like to know that you have multiple options.
I don't know that that's completely true.
No, you have this one special girl.
Some women go, "Oh, there's competition. I need to make my move."
You don't want those women.
It's not a matter of competition. It's not a matter of like targets. It's a matter of options.
It's a list.
Like people who are within my age range that I could see myself getting along with, that I wouldn't mind getting a little bit closer to and finding out if it would be a good idea for us to date.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's not like there's a pool like, okay, I want to try this person and this person and this person.
Very good. As long as you clarify that.
Yes. It's just I don't feel the ideal time has arrived yet.
And for all the women listening, how old is Josh?
Well, there's like my mom and Jacob's mom and Adeline Zane and Haley Cosby. That's like 4.
But they have friends that they might point his way.
So Adeline Zane has friends that are 16, 17. That's a no-go. Haley's friends?
They can have friends that are older than them.
If they have 18-year-old friends, then
the funniness of this podcast has gone to a sub level 0.
Yeah, I feel like I've been
go back to being funny and stop talking about women.
I feel like I've been cornered into a very vulnerable moment here.
Yeah. No more women.
No more women.
They're scary.
I have advice for you, Josh. Go watch Love on the Spectrum, and that'll teach you how to date.
No, I don't think that's.
There we go. That's your advice.
That would help you so much. First off, you shouldn't tickle women. Not on the first date.
I don't feel like I needed Love on the Spectrum to teach me.
Never touch a woman below the shoulder until you sign the dotted line. Phil Robertson.
I don't feel like I needed a show to kind of help me on that one.
I think Love on the Spectrum gives some very good advice.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I don't need Love on the Spectrum to teach me not to tickle women without their permission and appropriate situations.
We don't know.
We're just trying to help.
You turned it not funny.
Yes.
It's just because he's scared.
Yeah.
Listen. I had a very vulnerable moment. I'm a little scared right now. Okay.
He might need a maintenance wipe.
There's there's possibility of that.
It never hurts.
It's just
There's
like
nothing to lose.
Animals.
There's nothing to lose and everything to gain from a maintenance wipe. It's never bad.
That is a fair point. Although I must say, too frequent of maintenance wipes could lead to issues.
Well, use a wet wipe. I don't know.
Use dude wipes, dude. Those things are awesome.
I will say, okay, if I use a wet wipe last, then I feel like I need a maintenance wipe sooner.
Yep.
Because the moisture.
You need that drying action of 2-ply afterwards.
Yeah. So your methodology, your secret technique is dry, wet, dry.
Yeah, a dry, wet, dry. The first dry is just removal of material. It's an
excavation move.
It is. It's an excavation. Yeah. The wet is to get the residue that is difficult to get, and the dry is like the final coat.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
To those women who would consider dating me, disregard that we just spent like a solid half hour talking about poop.
Women like guys with good hygiene. They like guys with good hygiene.
A lot.
They do.
Yeah. Hey,
they do.
Yeah, Josh.
I know.
I was on you're like, oh no, women do fart and they have boogers. I was on the phone with my girlfriend one night.
Thing? Is that like a thing that women don't have boogers? I've never heard of that one.
Growing up as a little kid, women don't do that. So I was on the phone with my girlfriend, and she goes, "Why did you mute?" And I unmuted, and I said, "To be completely honest, I had to fart." And she laughed so hard. Now, whenever I got a fart on the phone, I just do it, and she laughs at it. She thinks it's the funniest thing in the world, and it makes me so happy. They don't care.
I'll one up you. Josh farts on the podcast.
True. So, if anyone want to know what that sounds like, you can just listen to our last episode.
Yeah,
he's very slow at trying to cover it up. It's more, it literally went frup.
The true milestone of a healthy relationship is not when your first kiss is. It's when you first fart in front of each other.
Yeah. Oh, can I throw my dad? I'm going to throw my dad under the bus for this one. I love you, Dad.
I mean, you already told us that Ryan pooped.
Yeah. So
on Carly's floor.
Yep.
So when my mom and dad were first dating,
about that next time you see him.
So when my mom and dad were first dating, they were sitting on the couch watching a movie or something, and my dad looks at my mom, and he goes, "I got to fart," and she goes, "Well, just do it." And he lifted up his leg and farted on her. And my mom describes it as rumbling her leg or something like that. And my dad looks at her and goes, "That wasn't as cool as I thought it was going to be." And that was it. I think that's the funniest thing. He just farted on my mom and then goes, "That wasn't very cool." But just so yeah, you can do it. It's a memorable moment.
Yeah. And Logan, that was the moment where you came the closest to never having been born.
My mom is my stepmom, so you're wrong.
Oh, there you go.
How do you feel now?
I don't.
Wait, I just realized.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it.
It's 2:30 in the morning.
You don't feel.
I'm dead.
I just realized, Logan, we're adopted buddies.
Yeah.
You're
But
adopted.
yeah, we're adopted buddies.
Wow. We should kiss.
This is why Josh
We need to wrap this up,
Logan. All right. This has been the Wisdom Vacuum Podcast. Our special guest, Luke Goad. He was awesome. Thank you for all the questions. And our creature features. Say goodbye, creature feature, real quick.
Bye.
Now go back.
Go back, Gerald. Go back, Gerald.
Yeah, please get out of here. We don't care about you. Be quiet. Be quiet.
I'm sorry.
I said be quiet.
Wait. Before he leaves, Mason, one more question. Are you hot?
Yes. Oh.
What'd you ask him?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
What is?
All right.
You had to be there. Anyways.
He just left the Discord.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Right.
It's been
This
great.
has been the Wisdom Vacuum Podcast. Thank you, Luke, for being on. It was great. Thanks for all the courtesy flush poop questions. All right. Say goodbye, everybody. This is it.
Okay, bye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.